This video is brought to you by ICN Library and specifically intended for faculty. The Cabell's Journalytics database is a barometer of metrics regarding academic journals. It allows you to look into international academic journals by browsing them by their disciplines and by many more metrics useful to your research. The remarkable purpose of this tool is to know which journal would potentially accept your latest article and how likely it is, in percentage, to be accepted. To access this database, go to the Knowledge Hub web portal. Under the Faculty Services tab, click on Cabell's Journalytics. Since the 1970s, the ambition of the latter is to be transparent towards researchers on the quality of a journal, its scientific value, and the influence of its publications. Each journal entry is thoroughly evaluated based on its impact factor, its acceptance rate, or based on a metric specifically designed by Cabell's called the CCI. The Cabell's Classification Index rates the leverage a journal has on a discipline. It is a metric which classifies journals based on their disciplines. Each journal is ranked, comparing its citation rate. This index is calculated based on the global number of citations per article, examining a journal's publications in the last 3 years. Thus, a younger journal could not be integrated into Cabell's. It doesn't have enough experience and circulation of its citations per articles. This database grants access to data on journals selected on the leverage, thus highly qualified to receive or evaluate a research paper. Please note that the database essentially draws an inventory of international journals, Anglophone ones mainly. It covers 18 disciplines. Let us navigate the database to see what its main assets are. The home page lets you browse metrics of over 3,000 business and management journals. These are ordered alphabetically by default. From the main menu bar on top, you can directly enter a journal's name, the name of its discipline of interest to you, as well as the journal's ISSN. With the filters to the right of the magnifying glass, you can deepen your search criteria. Either a submenu appears, listing disciplines that you can select, or you can directly type in its name. You can also browse journals by their difficulty of acceptance by clicking on the More plus. Up to 100% by moving the blue pointer. The search engine remembers your selection and selects the journals corresponding to this percentage of influence as soon as you let go of the pointer. To explore the influence an article has on social media, and which ones, you can opt for an altmetric search, listing the number of social platforms on which the article was influenced. Up to 350 entry points. This is very useful to measure the e-reputation of a journal, the digital footprint left by a journal online. To discover the altmetrics, a specific video will be made available shortly. The Call for Papers option lets you select journals which recently published such an announcement, which keeps you posted on the current article requests, as well as allows you to follow the activity of a journal. By clicking on the More plus, it is possible to order the journals by the aforementioned metrics, such as the difficulty of acceptance, the allotted time to proofread the papers, its periodicity, and the journal's country of origin. Right from the homepage, you can also order the journals by such criteria without having to enter a journal's name. Click on Title just below the advanced filters. If we scroll down the list of journals until we find the Accounting and Business Research journal, the database gives you the ID card of the latter. First, on top, you see the publisher's name, Taylor and Francis. We then have the journal's name, its cover, its location, periodicity, its open access model in the publishing ecosystem, with a direct link to its call for papers here, outlined with a yellow megaphone logo. The link takes us to the calls page, whose deadline is set here on January 2021. If you click anywhere on the white rectangle, you unfold the ladder and you access more metrics, such as the list of disciplines and subdisciplines, the audience targeted by the journal, its periodicity, since it exists, its ISSN or EISSN, with launch dates depending on whether the journal is only available in digital, paper form, or both. We can also read a description of the journal's editorial policy by clicking on Read More, as well as consider the instructions to authors when handling manuscripts, with a direct link to it. If you click anywhere out of this canvas, you are back to the general information of the journal regarding its submission policy. We are given details on the review process. With a blind peer review, the manuscript is run through an anti-plagiarism software. The journal inserts comments from the reviewers' reports from 2 external reviewers and by 1 inside reviewer. The reviewing process will be complete after 1 to 2 months. The accepted manuscripts are about 30 pages. You would have to navigate the journal's website to know about the preferred citation style, although some journals state this on their cables or ID cards. Here you see that the submission process is conducted online. From the total of publications, only 0 to 5% of the articles are submitted to the journal via an invite. If we exit this section and go to the metrics section, the number of citations online and where, and finally how excellent the publications are in percentage via their main disciplines. So you unfold the different disciplines. The CCI for the Accounting and Business Research Journal in the accounting discipline is 57%. Please note that the CCI is a percentile. This means that 57% of all publications, all journals considered in the accounting discipline, are inferior in terms of quality compared to the Accounting and Business Research Journal. This percentile states that this journal publishes very good articles in this field. A second metric is the difficulty of acceptance percentile. This metric is computed by counting the number of times an article written by a researcher coming from the top-ranked institutions is published by the journal. As it is, regarding this metric, the journals are ranked. If a percentile of 10% appears, this means your article will not be accepted easily. If this percentile is between 11 to 20%, this is even less likely that your article gets accepted. Moreover, if the percentile is over 20%, as it is here, it will be extremely difficult for your article to get accepted. Finally, the Contact tab lets you know about the journal's governance. The database lets you see the email addresses of the persons. It is possible to see their expertise fields thanks to who they are, in order to evaluate whether your research paper would fit the journal. To sum up this tour of Cabell's Journalytics, this database lets you precisely discover the main research subjects in which a journal is said to have great influence. Thanks to metrics taken from the number of citations per article, the leverage on academic and social media, you can determine which journal would be better and the best asset to your research paper. Our documentation team is here to help if you have further questions. Happy searching on Cabell's Journalytics. Stay tuned for more research support videos.